Man, I'm gonna do a lot of cutting in this video. Let me try that again. Nope. Hey guys, what's up? It's Matt with 86, and today I'm looking at the TUF 506-4. First thing I want to say though, if there's anything in particular you're looking for with this, I'm going to try to cover as much as I can without getting too much into the super boring stuff or too technical about anything specific. But there will be timestamps down below, so be sure and check those out if that's something you're interested in. Just, you know, a la carte options. Go down there and pick what you want to look for and see if you can't find something down there that, you know, all you care about is what the keyboard sounds like, or you just want to see benchmark results. Anyways, without further ado, let's move into the video. And we're going to start off by talking about specifications, what this specific version has, because this one is a little different from the lower end one and a little different from the higher end one, but has that nice meat in the middle of kind of what hopefully everybody would be looking for. At least I think that's what ASUS was going for, to give people what they were looking for. Somewhere in the middle, that Goldilocks effects, that sweet spot, that just right. So talking about the CPU, we have a Ryzen 7 4800H, and it's a 2.9, I think, out of the box. Yep, 2.9 gigahertz out of the box. It turbos up to 4.2 gigahertz. The GPU that it utilizes is the RTX 2060 6GB variant featuring GDDR6. It is loaded, preloaded with two 8 gig sticks of DDR4 at 3200 megahertz. And it's a smart decision that they went with the two sticks. That way you can just go ahead and already be in dual channel mode. You get 16 gigs total, and that works out pretty good. So it's not like you're getting a single 16 gig stick and then you've got to, if you want to go in dual channel mode, go get another one to match it or something. They went ahead and pre-did that. Now if you want 32 gigs, of course, then you're buying your own stuff and doing it that way. Something that was a little lackluster to me was the use of the Intel 660p as their standard comes with the laptop SSD. The 660p is not super impressive, but it's not underwhelming either. You get read writes in that 1700 range, and that's okay. But I was hoping for something a little bit more. It is a full 1 terabyte NVMe SSD, so that's a good thing. And there is a second NVMe slot that's unpopulated that will read at NVMe speeds if you want to populate it with something else, or to have that additional drive storage, another game folder, somewhere to put your high definition videos or your music library. Though I don't know. Maybe some people have libraries that really take a whole terabyte of music, and that's interesting to me. I don't know if that's the case. The laptop does feature 802.11 AC, and both the antennas are located at the bottom of the monitor screen. ASUS kind of went full punch using a 90-watt battery. You can get about a solid 2 to 2.5 hours of gaming before you really have to plug it up and charge it. Most people are probably going to leave it plugged in while they're playing anyways. If you go to like your friend's house or LAN parties or something, you just throw it in the bag and charge it. Keep it charged the whole time. That's my personal opinion. But if you want to go full mobile on it, it does have a pretty impressive battery. And not only that, it charges super fast. The LCD panel is a Panda panel. If you've never heard of Panda, they make LCD panels. It's 144 hertz refresh rate. It's an IPS panel, and it's not the prettiest colors I've ever seen, but it's definitely an improvement from former, like the 504 series of the TUF series. It's definitely an improvement over those. You get a lot out of this little panel that they put on here, and it's pretty impressive to have a 144 hertz IPS panel. The colors with the panel are a little bit lackluster to the degree of official measurement. Now when I sit down and use it, it looks bright, brilliant, it's beautiful. It's got a nice, almost like black boost on it so that it's not super dark looking. I don't know if you ever played games like Sea of Thieves, but at nighttime on some monitors, it looks super dark, and then nighttime on like a VA panel, it still looks like you can see everything. You still have that kind of area where you can see a lot in the dark, but it's still not the most impressive at color reproduction and just perfectly hitting those black scales. So we're actually going to show you right here is a black crush test so you can see what boxes you can identify up to. And what I'm going to do is show you an overexposed shot, as I always do, because a black crush test will only translate as well on your own monitor as your own monitor will allow it to. And before I forget, we'll do a UFO test so you can see 144 hertz on this laptop, and we'll take some pictures of that as well so you can see where it pauses, and you can hopefully see the ghosting before or after ghosting and be able to discern, hey, that looks pretty good, or it's not that great, or maybe next time they don't use Panda. So the color scale is really only rated at 45% NTSC and about 62% sRGB, which is pretty good for the fact that we're just considering this is really for gaming. This is a gaming high refresh rate 144 hertz monitor, but it's not the most pretty, and I guess there's a part of me that expected it being IPS to have better color reproduction or better color values, because when I think IPS, I usually think those are your better colors. That's where you're getting better colors from. The editing monitors that I use, they're IPS monitors for that purpose so that I can get better color reproduction. But the joke's really on y'all, because my post-editing color reproduction and color editing, it's minimal at best. Good things about IPS monitors though is that you have great viewing angles, where if you're using something like Twisted Pneumatic or TN monitors, TN panels typically have that notoriously bad, you kind of go off to the side and you just lose a lot of not only your color but your viewing angle. I don't know a lot of people that are going to have to really turn to the sides a lot, but if you've ever used a TN panel, then you know that to some degree they have sort of bad angles and really bad color reproduction for the most part. Brightness kind of got me a little bit. It doesn't feel bad. I don't know if that makes sense. When I sit there and I'm using it, I know that it's not a 320 to 400 or 500 nits screen, but you're sitting at about 240 to 280 nits, and it still feels pretty bright looking at it, even with the screen turned all the way up, or even if it's not turned all the way up. In most environments, including this bright office during the daytime, seeing the screen is not really a problem, and I think that it's bright enough. On the left side of the laptop, we have two USB 3.2 Generation 1s, one USB Type-C Generation 2 of USB 3.2. And the cool thing about that is it's also display out. So if you have a USB-C to display cable, you can go USB-C to display port out onto a monitor. We also have our jack for our LAN. We have an HDMI jack and your headphone jack that can feature both the two-way for speaking and listening.
Leave it to old Matt to completely forget to tell you about the right-hand side, which I'm doing now over the pod mic. This is my podcast. If you didn't see the pod mic video, then you don't get it. But on the right-hand side is a USB 2.0, and that's it.
Overall, the construction of the laptop is primarily plastic construction, which is kind of odd for something bearing that TUF name. It does feel a little bit thinner than the previous TUF laptop I've looked at, but overall it's pretty strong, nice quality plastic, but it is plastic construction, and it weighs about 5 pounds, which is pretty light. I guess the plastic pays off in that department. It's a nice light gaming laptop, but it's made out of plastic, and I don't know how tough it really is. Though TUF actually stands for the ultimate force, I don't know how tough it really is. I haven't tried throwing it on the ground. So I'm going to pause right here. We're going to go over some of the benchmarks. I'll show you the benchmark results that I took, everything from doing VR, from superposition to just doing high and extreme, to running things like Time Spy or the old school Firestrike benchmarks. We did Geekbench 4. I looked at a couple different things, but we're definitely going to show it here. I use CPU-Z to compare it to some more relevant data as well. Anyways, we'll stop right here. I'll run some of those by you. You can stop and look at this, or you can skip ahead to the next thing that you're interested in. And hopefully you'll be able to get some kind of idea of what you're dealing with the shots that I'm able to show you. Now this laptop, like most gaming laptops, does get pretty hot, but most of the readings on the internal are pretty cool. They're sticking around that 74 to 78 degrees Celsius, and while that is hot, the exterior is really pushing out that heat, which we can see here when we take gauge shots of it. One of the caveats to having such powerful fans to cool this is that they get a little bit loud, so let's pause here and you take a listen to that. Now, one way to get around these loud fans is to get yourself a laptop cooler. Set it up there and put it in silent mode. Even in silent mode, it's cooling very adequately, especially with the added assistance of bigger, quieter fans on a laptop cooling pad. But when you throw it into performance mode or turbo mode, those fans are definitely going to be ramped up and you're going to hear them. They are super loud. This unfortunately is a problem that plagues most laptop manufacturers, is to find a way to have these blower style fans not be so loud, but unfortunately this is the world we live in, and if you're going to be gaming on a laptop like this, especially using performance mode or a turbo mode, you need to expect that you're going to hear that. Putting it in silent mode, having a laptop cooler, that's the best way to cut down on the sound. Now if you didn't notice going over some of those benchmarks, it is fully VR ready for anything on optimal level, up to 10,000 score via superposition. Fantastic. It is quite capable of VR. Now the speakers on the laptop are actually going to be your typical speaker sounds that you might expect from a laptop. They sound pretty good, but I'm going to show you a demo right here where you can listen and compare, and it's probably about what you expected. There's really never anything that's good and bassy, full and wholesome that comes in a laptop, and it's sort of the same trend that you're going to see here with this. I don't usually have high expectations of laptop speakers in the first place, but go ahead and take a listen and see what you think. Also, let's pause here and listen to the keyboard real quick. It is a membrane chiclet style keyboard. I don't necessarily like the fact that WASD is transparent. I would have rather have been like white or yellow or something tough related color scheme. I don't know, something that's just not transparent. Transparent just feels weird to me. So as I mentioned earlier, I kind of wanted to touch on the fact we're using the 4800H as the CPU. That is a little bit overkill coupled with a 2060 GPU. I don't think that that's a necessary CPU for this, but it is a powerful CPU for anything you're doing CPU dependent. That's why your price is going to look a little over that $1,000 price point. I think that it's a little bit higher on purpose and intended for people that are both going to have fun playing, doing gaming, and doing heavy workloads that are CPU dependent. I agree with this setup 100%, but I also think it's not necessary. If all you need is that 2066 gigabyte variant and you want a gaming laptop, there are and will be cheaper options out there that are sub $1,000 or right at $1,000, and this one may be a pass for you if that's the case. However, if you're looking for something that both has a strong CPU and a strong GPU, this might be the option that's right up your alley, and it's that sweet spot for me that I think is that Goldilocks effect. So it's right there, it's perfect for what I want out of it, and an Octa-Core processor mixed with 6 gigabytes of GDDR6 on the 2060, it's meeting the mark all around for me. But it's not necessary. So that's just food for thought if you're looking to save a little bit of money. Either wait for something else that's going to come out that's going to be a little bit more in a lower price range, or if this is something you're looking for, I think this is an excellent option and I stand behind it. The keyboard is full RGB and it lights up and looks beautiful. You can go into the Armoury and set some of those functions and modes. Unfortunately, it doesn't couple with other TUF products or other RSync products. It's sort of its own standalone thing. I got the M5 mouse and I tried hooking it up in there and syncing it with the keyboard built in. I find this odd, but I get it. However, if you have like the M5 and a ROG keyboard, you can set those to sync around the keyboard or around the aesthetics that are built into the laptop. Guys, as always, I hope this video was helpful and you found something useful in it. If there's anything I missed and you want to know about, be sure and post down below because I will definitely do my best to get back to you and answer that question. You guys have a great day, night, whatever it is, and I'll see you in the next video that I do.